Let's talk to Clem Chambers from Investors Hub. Clem, I would like to read a recent article in the Financial Times in London. In December, the so-called depth of the S&P 500 futures market, representing the range of available buyers and sellers, was even worse than it was at the peak of the financial crisis. As one major electronic trader put it, 2018 was the first time it became obvious that there are fewer people making markets these days. They're fair weather friends, and when the shirt hits the fan, they pull back. Worryingly, it seems that the market recovery of 2019 has not led to a basically improvement in liquidity. That's quite worrying, isn't it?
I think American liquidity is gigantic in comparison with a lot of the rest of the world. If you look at London, it just dwarfs the liquidity of the London market. So I think there's more than enough liquidity to go around in the US. But the market is now really a bird in a gilded cage. The Fed has done its job. It's stopped the market from crashing. It's carrying on with its QT for a bit more, and then the market will be, probably going up. What we are seeing here is a result of the QE QT cycle, and the Fed doesn't want to crash the market. Nearly did at the end of last year. Nearly did at the beginning of the year before that. And, basically it does its thing when the markets look like they're going to crash. It defends them from a crash. It's putting the market in a sideways range until it gets its balance sheet into a position where it likes it. And that may be some way off. But it's not going to let the market crash. It's going to let it correct badly, maybe. But it's going to keep it within tram lines. And you can draw those tram lines yourself. So it's now near the top of that tram line. So I think the market will probably be a little bit bearish, but guess what? Summer's coming. Everyone's going to expect that. So I think we're dealing with a highly managed market. Now, when it's a highly managed market, there isn't really any profit in providing liquidity because there is somebody doing that, and it's the Fed. And it's providing the liquidity from providing money that can go into carry trades, and those carry trades are mainly in equities. So it goes, hey guys, do you want some cheap money to keep the wheels of finance going? Here it is. You can have it at very low money. And banks come along and go, right, well, I'm going to stick it in something that pays me a dividend, or I'm going to stick it in something that's going to go up a few percent, or I'm going to put it in equities. I'm going to hedge them and come out with a 2% return on the 1% it costs me. And that's why assets are being supported, and that's why various slightly further away from cash assets like real estate are suffering, because if you're going to play that game with the Fed's money, you really want to have liquidity. So the Fed is the liquidity of all markets now, and therefore private sector liquidity doesn't get paid, and therefore isn't there to be had. And as long as the Fed carries on being the liquidity provider of last resort, the market maker of last resort, it's going to go on its merry way. And so far, it's done a really great job at managing that process, because it's in a really bad way as far as the balance sheet goes. And in a sense, it's just sort of laughing it off and keeping the market to go sideways, to let the money that growth creates come into the economy while it slowly but surely tiptoes out the back door. And I think that's the market we're going to be seeing to further notice. It's quite difficult to make great returns in that market because, you are basically locked into a sideways channel and returns are going to be limited.
Clem, we've run out of time. Thank you very much indeed. That's Clem Chambers.
Thanks very much, Nick.